All right, today we are diving deep into the mind of one of the greats, Seneca. He was a Roman statesman, a famous playwright, and, most importantly, a titan of Stoic philosophy. He basically promised a guide to living a happy life, and he came up with it right in the middle of a totally chaotic empire. So the real question is, how can his 2,000-year-old wisdom help us today? Let's find out. This quote from Seneca just flips our whole idea of success on its head. He's arguing that true greatness, real strength, it isn't about winning or losing. It's about your inner character, your virtue, when you're facing whatever life decides to throw at you. You could literally lose everything and still be the most powerful person in the room, because that power comes from inside. This is the core idea we're going to unpack. And let's be real, this question feels more relevant now than ever, doesn't it? We live in a world that's just constant noise, nonstop anxiety, and so much uncertainty. Well, guess what? So did Seneca. His philosophy wasn't born in some quiet, peaceful library. It was forged in the fiery heart of a chaotic and seriously dangerous empire. So how'd he do it? Okay, so to really understand the medicine, you first have to understand the disease, right? Seneca's Rome was this wild place of extreme wealth, right next to brutal power politics and completely unpredictable emperors. It was a pressure cooker, and his philosophy was a direct answer to all that pressure. I mean, just look at this timeline of his life. It is an absolute roller coaster. He kicks off his career under the paranoid Emperor Tiberius, then gets exiled by Claudius, and then, in this crazy twist of fate, he's called back to Rome to tutor the future Emperor Nero. He becomes one of the most powerful men in the world, only to be forced to commit suicide by that exact same student. For him, philosophy wasn't some abstract thought exercise. It was a survival tool. And that is what makes his writing so incredibly powerful. When Seneca talks about dealing with anger, or misfortune, or finding happiness, he is writing from direct, personal experience. He'd seen it all. He knew firsthand that your fortune could change in a single instant, and the only thing you could ever truly rely on was the quality of your own mind. So, what was Seneca's solution to all this chaos? Well, he came up with a blueprint for a happy life that's both simple and powerful. And honestly, it all boils down to one fundamental distinction. The foundation for everything is this one idea: virtue. Now, for a Stoic, virtue isn't about being stuffy or acting all high and mighty. It's about excellence of character. It's about wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. And the crucial part is it's something that happens entirely inside of you. It's all about your judgments and your choices, nothing else. This chart just lays it out perfectly. On one side, you've got everything the world screams at you to chase: wealth, status, pleasure, even your own health. Seneca calls these indifference. Now, not because they're worthless, but because they have zero impact on your actual virtue. Why? Because they're outside of your complete control. On the other side is the only thing that truly matters: your character. Your happiness is like a house built on the foundation of virtue. Everything else is just weather passing by. So, let's get practical. Let's see how this whole philosophy actually plays out in the real world. Seneca called anger a brief madness and thought it was one of the most destructive forces in human life. But he didn't just condemn it. He gave us a practical guide to actually manage it. But first, we gotta clear something up. Being a Stoic does not mean being an emotionless robot. That's a huge misconception. Seneca's goal was never to suppress your feelings, but to meet them with reason. It's not about not feeling anger. It's about not letting anger be the one making your decisions for you. You are the master of your emotions, not their slave. And his toolkit for this is so practical, even 2,000 years later. First step, impose a delay. Never, ever act on that first impulse of anger. Just wait. Give your rational mind a chance to catch up. Second, examine your impressions. Question the story you're telling yourself. Is what happened really an injury, or is that just your interpretation? Third, practice empathy. Remember that we are all flawed. Like Seneca said, we should look at others the way a doctor looks at a patient. And fourth, consider the outcome. The damage you do to yourself when you're angry is almost always way worse than the original offense ever was. This practical, almost psychological approach is exactly why Seneca's work has had such an incredible, lasting legacy. His ideas weren't just for ancient Romans. They're for anyone, anywhere, at any time who's just trying to live a good life. I mean, his ideas were so powerful that early Christian thinkers studied him. The great writers of the Renaissance looked to him for wisdom. And today, his principles actually form the philosophical basis for cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, which is one of the most effective types of modern psychotherapy. From military leadership training to the huge global Stoicism movement today, his wisdom is everywhere. It just goes to show you that the core problems of the human mind, they haven't really changed all that much. So let's end with Seneca's challenge, but brought right here into the present moment for you. Forget about all the things you can't control for a minute. The traffic, the news, what other people think. Instead, just consider this. What is the one thing entirely within your power, a choice you make, a judgment, a reaction, that you could focus on today to start building that foundation of virtue? This is for entertainment and educational purposes only.